Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, DC Rebirth, Tim Drake Robin. Now this is Tim Drake in his newest costume, and he's Robin again. He was originally the third Robin after Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, and at one point, he became Red Robin, then Robin again, then Red Robin, etc., and now he's Robin again. And he's not the only Robin. Damian Wayne is also Robin, and Tim Drake is Robin. Personally, I prefer when they're different identities, like Robin, Red Robin, etc. They're doing something similar with Batgirls. Currently, there are 3 different people that are Batgirl in the comics. But either way, this is the legitimate, modern Tim Drake as Robin. I was always hoping for a Red Robin version, but he has a newer costume, and this is it. Finally have the Rebirth version of Tim Drake to add to the Bat family. It has been a long time coming. I ordered this guy from the McFarlane toy store. It arrived today, so let's take a look at the package. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts. McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus. DC Multiverse, Robin, Tim Drake. Here he is in the package. It looks like he has 8 alternate hands, totaling 10 hands. Collector's card and display stand. One side of the package, Robin, Tim Drake from DC's Rebirth. Other side, Robin, Tim Drake. At the bottom, there's his barcode, in case that helps anybody. And on the back side, here he is, posed up and ready to go. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. We have a display stand, collector's card, 8 alternate hands, totaling 10 interchangeable hands. Would have been nice to get a bat gadget of some sort, maybe a batarang. But honestly, I have plenty of those things, so I do appreciate the hands. Before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Tim Drake from the Rebirth comics. The most modern suit that he's worn. They kind of skipped over the Red Robin suit and went straight to his new Robin suit, which I guess I'm cool with because this is the most current up-to-date look for Tim Drake in the comics. Both him and Damian Wayne are both Robin right now. Kind of prefer to use Red Robin just to keep a little bit of differential, but at the same time, here he is. Call it whatever you want in your collection. I'll probably still refer to him as Red Robin. So let's take a look. Starting with his face here, it looks pretty damn good. The hair is sort of part of the side. He's got the green domino mask, white lenses in the eyes. He's got that sort of half smirk, which fits Tim Drake's personality. Below that, he's got the red on his sort of chest area. He's got green and yellow, the traditional Robin colors, but this guy has a lot of black. You can see the tiny bit of flesh on his bicep, and that's the only bit of flesh you see besides his face and neck. Looks like double-jointed elbows, double-jointed knees. For the most part, he looks pretty good. Cloth soft goods cape with a wire on either side. Looks like we have a little bit of texturing on the inside, pretty smooth on the back. As a whole, really happy to finally add this guy to the collection. This was the biggest glaring omission from the Batman Rebirth Bat family. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. I think they did an excellent job on the head and face sculpt on this guy. Very well done. And here's a figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. Typical McFarlane stand we've seen a million times before. It's a black circle, very thin, very basic. Here's his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Tim Drake Robin from the Rebirth comics, posed up and looking very similar to the figure. Robin, Tim Drake from DC Rebirth. On the back side, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. Now let's look at his hands. He has a total of 10 of them, 5 right hands and 5 left hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And here's his second pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands. These will be the hands I display him with most of the time. And then his next pair of hands. This is a pair of what look like grabbing, choking, or throwing hands. And now, his next pair of hands. This is a pair of default hands. They would look good relaxed at his sides. And here's his last pair of hands. His right hand is a thumbs up, and his left hand is a pointing hand. Let's talk about his cape. I love what they do with the cloth wired capes. They usually come out really good. And I really appreciate when they do them in the $22 release figures, so it doesn't cost anything extra. do like the plastic cape. I also like the cloth cape. It just depends on the scenario. So the cape here can expand about this far. It is tattered, like Batman's cape. The inside is yellow, sticks out about that far, and it has the wire in there, so you can bend it to your will. You could have it, flowing in the wind. Both sides kind of going that way. It can look really cool. So upon first glance, I thought to myself, oh, it looks like this Tim Drake Robin shares some parts with Dawnbreaker, the arms, the fins, and that's not accurate at all. Completely new parts there. But he does share the legs from the John Kent body. And I didn't even notice at first until I looked around his ankles. So, head, chest, stomach, diaper, all different. Arms also look to be different. But the legs are the same, painted differently. The main way I could tell is we have this sculpted little boot thing here, and you can still sort of see that on the Tim Drake Robin. Should be smooth, but still has that little bit of sculpted detail there. Now that I've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing right at 7 inches tall, which can translate to just under 18 centimeters. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course, he can rotate side to side. He can look up and down about that much. He can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders, on a ball joint, goes a little bit more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He does have that butterfly ring between his shoulder and chest, increase the range of motion, and cover that large gap that would be there. Bicep cut, double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged. In his torso, he's got a ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. Another one in his waist, rotate around, forward and back. The belt is not attached to the diaper, moves around separately, which is, I think, the first time they've ever done that. Legs complete as a splits, McFarlane style hip joints, rotation minimum. Legs go forward about that far, maybe a little bit more to the side. Back, really not at all. Double jointed knees, and then his ankle, forward and back, rotate, tilt, rock, and of course, to articulation. Here's a look at the Tim Drake Robin, posed up similar to the back of the package on top of rooftop in Gotham City. And here's a closer look at Tim Drake Robin on top of the rooftop. Now let's check them out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Tim Drake figures. Here's this new McFarlane Tim Drake Robin, next to a couple of other previous versions. On the left, we have him in his first appearance outfit, and on the right, in the 1 year later outfit. Both these are from the comics, and they made both these figures a little bit too big and bulky, something they totally corrected on this new Robin. He's a lot leaner and slimmer. And here he is, next to the Gotham Knights Tim Drake Robin. This is a recent video game release, and notice how much taller the new Tim Drake is compared to the Gotham Knights version. And that's okay, because Tim Drake's getting a little bit older in the comics. He's a young adult now, not a teenager anymore. Then, next to a couple more McFarlane Tim Drake figures, but these are him in his second Red Robin costume. Here are all the different McFarlane Tim Drake figures they've made so far. They've covered some of his main looks, but I would still love to see a version of Red Robin in his original suit, and a version of Red Robin for his Rebirth suit. Here he is, next to all of my DC Direct Tim Drake Robin figures. There's a pretty cool one from Teen Titans that I'd love to get my hands on. And here, with all of my Mattel Tim Drake Robin figures, here he is, next to 3 different versions of Tim Drake in his first Red Robin suit. I hope McFarlane makes a figure of this. It's probably my favorite Red Robin suit. Although the DC Direct one on the far left, I'm pretty sure is actually Dick Grayson from Kingdom Come as Red Robin. Here's his Tim Drake, next to 3 different Tim Drake figures in his second Red Robin costume. This is one with the wings from the New 52. Here's the progression of Tim Drake and all of his different costumes. The first 2 are him in his Robin costumes. Then number 3, 4, and 5 are him in his 3 different Red Robin costumes. And then on the far right is his most recent costume, back to being Robin. Here's this new Tim Drake figure, next to a custom Tim Drake in civilian attire I made a few years ago. Now let's check him out, next to some of the McFarlane Robin figures. Not Red Robin, not Red Hood, not Nightwing, but simply Robin figures. Here he is, next to all 3 different versions of the Dick Grayson Robin figures McFarlane has made, and there's an upcoming one from Batman Forever as well. McFarlane hasn't made a Jason Todd as Robin yet, and I don't honestly expect they ever will. here's Tim Drake, next to all the different McFarlane, Damian Wayne Robin figures. And now, next to McFarlane's Carrie Kelly Robin figures. And finally, here he is next to the Robin King and 3 different Robin Crows. Here are all 4 of the original Robins. Dick Grayson, who's now Nightwing, Jason Todd, who's now Red Hood, Tim Drake, who's now Robin, although, to avoid confusion, I usually refer to him as Red Robin, and then Damian Wayne as Robin. I would say scale-wise, these guys all fit in together pretty nicely. Dick Grayson being the tallest, Jason Todd a little taller than Tim Drake, and then Damian Wayne the shortest. So here's the entire Rebirth Bat Family team. We have Barbara Gordon Batgirl, Signal, Batwoman, Ghostmaker, Red Hood, Nightwing, Batman, Tim Drake Robin, Damian Wayne Robin, Azrael, and Cassandra Cain Batgirl. Now the main glaring omissions we have are Huntress, and allegedly she's coming in the next Collector's Edition wave after the Clock King and Ragman wave. Spoiler, and Batwing. And you guys may say, oh, how come you didn't include Batwing? Well, I refuse to put Batwing into this display since I made the David Zimbabwe version. We need the Luke Fox version. The one they made never interacted with pretty much any of these characters except for Batman. If they give a spoiler, Batwing and Huntress, I'd be pretty content with the modern Bat Family. Of course, they've given us a Lucius Fox recently, meaning we need Alfred and Gordon. Here's this Tim Drake Robin, next to several different McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman figures. Now let's check him out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the Joker and Punchline 2-pack. And here he is, next to the Batman vs. Bane Nightfall 2-pack. Then, next to the Dark Knight Trilogy, Morgan Freeman Lucius Fox figure. And now, next to the Amazon exclusive glow-in-the-dark Batman Joker robot, and the GameStop exclusive Frostbite Joker. Here's Tim Drake, next to the Mr. Freeze, Ambush Bug, and Booster Gold Wave. And here he is, next to the Kryptonite glow-in-the-dark Doomsday figure. Then, with some McFarlane Toy Store exclusives, Mr. Zsasz, Kingdom Come Armored Batman Patina variant, and the Infected Batman Nightmare variant. And finally, next to the McFarlane Collector's Edition Wave 4, we have both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Penguin, Starfire, and Captain Boomerang. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you'll notice lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some Diamond Select toys, here he is, next to a Bluetooth speaker. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figure Arts and some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, I'm very pleased with this Tim Drake Robin figure. I've been wanting a Rebirth Red Robin figure since the beginning of the McFarlane DC Multiverse. And they still haven't given us that, but they skipped ahead and gave us Tim Drake in his most recent costume. And I really appreciate that. This is a great addition to the Rebirth Bat Family. I see a lot of people sneaking in the different Tim Drake Robin figures or Red Robin, and it just doesn't work for me. He never wore those costumes or colors in the Rebirth era. Yes, I did the same thing and I used him for a fill-in, but now we don't need a fill-in, we have the real deal. So, his accessories, well, it'd be nice if he came with some accessories. Yeah, I appreciate 10 different hands, but I usually just pick my favorite 2 and throw the rest into my McFarlane handbag. A Batarang or something would have been nice. Sculpt and paint job, excellent, no issues there. Although it would have been nice to have a regular face and not have him with that semi-smirk the entire time, but it does match Tim Drake. The cloth wired cape is excellent, although kind of small and short. If I were to rate this figure, I'm going to give him a 7.5 out of 10, kind of teetering maybe on the lines of a 7. His legs seem a little bit thin to me, but that is not inaccurate. That is how he should look. Overall, I like the figure, and I'm really happy to fill in the Tim Drake gap in the modern Bat Family. Like I said, allegedly we're getting Huntress soon, then we need Batwing and Spoiler, and I'll be very happy with the Bat Family at that point. although we also need a Rebirth Azrael. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.